So Dan, you're going to show me some of your books now, yeah?
Yeah. Let's go. Come into the office.
Yeah.
Stroke kitchen.
Yeah.
This is my little shelf here. It shares the shelf with some skateboarding stuff, but mainly I'll get my published stuff out first, is it?
Yeah. Okay, look, while you're doing
What we
that as
got?
well, tell me about this lovely poster here.
Oh, right. So this is the show that's currently on in Cardiff Museum, the National Museum for Wales. So I was particularly proud of this.
You've arrived, mate. That's amazing. No, that is incredible, Dan. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, such a shock to be selected by the curator Bronwyn to have 2 pictures in the show. It's just pretty heavy duty, you know. Kudelka, Robert Frank.
Who are those guys?
Bruce Davidson.
Those guys.
I know, yeah, and just, you know, Clementine Schneiderman, Megan Winston. It's just David Barnes. It's just wild.
I think that's the one thing about what we do as photographers, because our work's time-based. You know, there is always a chance that some people might finally get on board, because the work isn't like you've made something that's like, I always say this, like a cake, and the cake's going to go off and out of date and no one's going to know how good the cake was.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Your photos are forever. Is that your little girl in this one?
Yeah, so this is Megan as well.
Yeah.
This is a, you know, I always like to include family in my work.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any harm in that.
No.
And I know people are afraid. People think the photography is all about photographing strangers, but it definitely isn't, for sure. Photograph what's around you. You know, if your family are there, photograph them. Right. So, oh wait, there's one more. Thomas will tell you about being photographed.
Yeah. You've been photographed a lot, Thomas? What? You've been photographed a lot by this guy? Yeah?
All the time, isn't it?
What's your favourite photograph that your dad's taken?
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you have a favourite?
You can't even remember.
It's okay. You don't have to be in my show. You don't have to be in my show. It's all right. It's a silly
He's
show.
bunking off, so he
is.
Make sure
I won't tell anyone.
It is a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, kids. There you go. So Dan, here we go. You've got a pile of your books here.
Yep.
I'm doing you the locked off tripod routine. So yeah, where do you want to start?
Well, we'll start at the beginning, really, which is...
Could you put it in... That's the sweet
spot,
spot.
yeah.
That's the sweet spot right there.
Right, so we'll start at the beginning. So this is the first edition of Suicide Machine, which was published by Another Place Press in 2016, which was just a small edition of 150. Basically 6x6 colour photos of...
Oh, sorry, I just realised in shot. Sorry, man.
It's okay.
I just want to put it out of the way. I'm just going to zoom in a bit.
Yeah, so 6x6 shots of, you know, local area, and so basically it was, I think the catalyst was when we were expecting our first child, and my wife at the time was, she wanted to move away because she's originally from Preston, so it kind of... It inspired me to get out and just try and see Bridgend, where we live, through some fresh eyes, and see what we were going to do now that there was a child on the way, you know, and the ultimate bloody... Oh, I can't...
Paradigm shift, man. Paradigm shift.
Well, yeah, the responsibility, that's the word I was looking for, of just... And we were going to be older parents, so there was a lot to take on board. We'd had a lot of freedom in the past.
How old are you now, Dan? You're 39 now, aren't you?
Well, I was 50 last week.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. 50. So, wow.
You lower it down a bit.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so, you know, I shot this project for about 3 years. And was very proud when Ian approached me and we released this little book. And so it sold out pretty quickly, which was a good sign. So there was a second edition.
This seems a bit bigger, badder and dangerous to know, doesn't it?
Well,
Hold them side by side for a minute.
Yeah. So
I love that they're essentially the same, but it's like little and large.
So, yeah, this was a revised edition. So we worked on the sequence a little bit and the edit and some stuff we took out and some stuff we put in. So we were really pleased how it came out, and I think this was released. Okay, it came out during lockdown in an edition of 200 and sold out really quickly because everyone was in the house. We were looking for things to buy. So, fortunately, it sold out.
Shot. Hold on there for a minute. Let me just focus that one up. That looks really cool. Let me come in a bit.
Yeah, so this was the printing was a lot better on this. I don't know if I can find the comparison.
Can you just move your hand for a minute?
Yeah, see what I mean? You know, we just toyed with the...
You flipped it.
Yeah, we flipped it. Everything was a little bit brighter and...
But it still looks good, man. They both look good.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a feel. Oh, yeah. Silk.
You know your papers, Ed, don't you?
I love a silk. Do you know what? I asked a really funny question to the guy, was it Colin? Used to do Blue Coat Press.
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah.
walking out being like, tell me about vintage paper stocks. What book was William Eggleston's guide printed on? I was sort of thinking, can you match that paper stock? And he was like, well, no, you can't, because the sort of the procedures have changed so much in printing. That's just not even relevant anymore. It's not like, because I was getting all like, it's like shooting a film. Could you find the film stock the film was made?
Right. Yeah.
No, you can't do that with book printing. The techniques and everything is just the chemistry and whatever they're doing. It's all.
Yeah, because you can look at some books from decades ago and the printing is just outstanding, isn't it? You know, the ink is like bouncing off the paper. Yeah. But yeah, so I put a lot of work into this, and
that's lovely, that diptych there. I think your pairings are so strong. Some photographers, you see this in some books where it's like the amateur and they're just filling every page because they just want to put every photo in.
Well, this is where Ian comes into it. He's the master of pairing things up. He's
Whereas
really
for me,
good.
that as a diptych is great. There's something going on there, and I can't tell you what it is, but it works.
Ian's got a great vision. You know, his background's in design as well, so he can spot something straight away. And so I think there was a lot more pairings in this one, and they really worked, a lot of them. I was pleased how this came out, that's for sure. And the printing was a lot better. So,
Well, that one's done the rounds, isn't it? That one.
The hedge. Yeah.
That one's done the rounds.
It is. I'm pretty sick of it, to tell the truth. But that was one of the first pictures I took for the series. Halfway through the series, I switched to a Mamiya 6 or Mamiya before I get roasted on YouTube.
You changed to a Dianabus.
A Diane
camera.
So Suicide Machine. I don't know if there'll be a third edition. It would be nice if there was maybe a hardback one day in the kind of. But you never know. This is the second edition is 4 years old now. And I think the pictures, I haven't looked at this for a long time, and I still like the pictures. There's probably a few things I would probably change, but generally, I think the pictures are okay.
Right, where are we going next then?
This was one of the last pictures I took for Suicide Machine, and it's at the bulk. So that image was the catalyst for Gap in the Hedge, where I thought, I can do a project on that area, this mountain pass that connects Bridgend with the Rhondda Valley. So
can you just show me your signature again, Dan? That's what an adult signature looks like, ladies and gentlemen. If I signed books like that, I'd be signing everything. Oh, the focus is gone. It won't let me focus just because my ego can't take it. There we go. Look at that. That is such a good signature, Dan.
Do you think so? That doesn't
really good.
That doesn't look like my signature.
You were a graffiti artist, a skateboarder, and alternative guru, and now everything's coming together.
I might have bought this from somewhere signed. I'm not sure. I don't usually sign my own books.
Well, it's a very nice signature, is what I'm getting at here.
But anyway, so I started work on this book.
Oh, look at that! That's nice when you do that, isn't it?
Yeah, that does really lay flat there. Me and Ian, well, this is the only hardback book that Another Place Press ever made, and the last as well, because it nearly put us both in an early grave. Just some of the things we had to think about that came with producing a hardback book. We had to re-scans a lot of the negatives. Oh, we were both having a meltdown. But it was lith printed. So
yeah, lithographic printing, ladies and gentlemen. The old offset printing, no digital printing here.
I went to the printers on press and to watch the whole process and then making the plates, and incredible. What a day.
That's a lovely shot, Dan. Look at the depth to that. Yeah, I mean, the thing that strikes me about your work is like, obviously some of your portraits are incredible and like, you know, almost sort of diaristic. Again, it's that thing where they feel a bit like memories. They feel like I've seen that. It's like it's there. But your landscapes, dude, there's something else, and they're so interesting. There's a lot of landscapes photographers banging around on social media now, and you just look at their work and you think, mate, it's boring.
Yeah, they're kind of
boring.
soulless.
Like, look at the composition here. The lines of the trees, the lines of the houses, the house in the foreground. There's, you know.
I think it comes from I'm not very kind of snap happy, so I will put a lot of thought into the picture I'm making. You know, even with I've switched to digital a few years ago, and if I go out on a big walk, I will take 10 pictures with a digital camera as opposed to like 60. You know, so I do put a lot of thought into each one. I think that comes through with the photos. You know, that's what I attempt to do anyway. So. Yeah. But yeah, this, you know, it's been a while since I looked at this as well, so I'm secretly a bit proud of this one.
Yeah,
too.
it's a great book, Dan. It's an absolute banger. I believe I have this book. I do. I have this
well done, Ed. Thank you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. But no, it's wonderful. And like the design's great. The use of the page, like, you know, it's lovely.
Yeah. Once again, Ian, you know, it was hell of a collaboration, and it probably took years off our lives, but
good.
Yeah. It was worth it. It was worth it. I don't want to live a long life anyway, so. But it's remarkable, some of the people I met, and like this guy, for instance, I was just standing on top of this hill. This guy stops his car and starts running towards me. I was like, you know, what does this guy want? He's just running directly towards me. And he just said, oh, hi, mate. Can you see Weston-super-Mare from up here? And I was like, yeah, I think so. He's like, oh, well, that's where I'm from. I'm driving back there now. And he was a plasterer called Simon. So
there's Simon the plasterer.
There's Simon the plasterer.
Yeah.
The briefest interaction, you know, 30 seconds. I was like, oh, let me take your picture. Yeah. So he's looking at Weston-super-Mare.
I've got this whole weird theory stuff about. Oh, hold on this one, man. Let me focus up because can you slide the book that way a bit? There you go.
That way.
It. Yeah, I love this one a bit more. Just anything on the bottom of that page, up a little bit. There you go.
Got it.
Here, let me just get it right in there. There we go. That is such a banger. I got to say, right. For me, that's up there. One of my favourite photos.
Really?
You've done, yeah, man. This is my Paul Rees. This is you in that same. What I said about Paul Rees previously when we were looking at that Paul Rees book about the action man and the guy wearing the trousers. It's all about that sheep looking over the wall.
This one.
Again, without that sheep looking over the wall, it's nice.
Yeah.
But that sheep looking over the wall, oh man, that's something else.
They're really, you know, those sheep up there. They really are like dogs. It's remarkable. You know. If you leave your car door open, they will be in there. They will get in the car.
But for me, yeah, that's why, you know, that's why you're one of the greats, Dan. It's like the ability to kind of not only get all that composed and the lighting and everything, but then you have that little bit extra.
Yeah, I was right in the mix as well. You know, they were so there was this whole like 5-minute thing of feeding the sheep. They came from everywhere, and I got some great shots on that afternoon. But that was probably the best. I felt like I was right in there.
I like that too. I like being in the vortex. And I love gabbing to strangers as well. I think there's a lot of what you've experienced in your time that I kind of like doing as well.
I did a lot of that on Gap in the Hedge. Spent time with people. Especially, where is he? Tony. He helped me a lot. We used to drive around in his little red Subaru. And real eccentric guy. But a cave explorer of all things.
Wow.
He's written like 30 books on caving in the UK. Interesting guy. Interesting guy. This is his house. His bat box and his elderberry wine.
Yeah.
Which was, you know, it could be mistaken for something else, but it was.
I'm not saying we all have to be like David Bowie and collect our own urine, but you know, there is something to it, maybe.
It was nice. It was a bit cloudy, so I was a bit suspect when he gave me some. But there he is, Tony. You know,
Tony, let me shout out Tony there. Where are you, Tony?
I love the guy. He was great to me, and a lot of these photo opportunities came along by. No, I wrote to Rhondda Heritage Society and said I'm looking for someone who can help me, you know. Help me out with the area a little bit more so I could get a bit more in depth, and Tony was like, yep, I'll help, and that was it. So
yeah, lovely. So are these all out of print now, Dan?
Yeah, like everything, I think.
Drool suckers, drool.
Which is a shame, really, because a lot of people still ask for books, and I've got nothing to sell them. You know, which is a shame. So I think once your book goes out of print and you haven't got anything else in the works, then that's basically the end of that. You know, so I'm a bit overdue for getting a book out, but I've got some dummy books here, which I've got 2 bodies of work that I'm sitting on, so hopefully someone will be brave enough to publish one of them. But anyway, so in between kind of Gap in the Hedge and my last book, Black Was the River You See, I made a character study, which was my friend Steve, that I've known for decades. Sadly, he's passed away now, but I knew we had to make this work because he wasn't in the best of health when we were making the work. But this is all about Steve and his just his kind of personality and the way he used to just spend time in this little slither of forest to the west of Bridgend. And
I always liked hanging out in the woods, and weirdly, I always lived by the sea, but I couldn't swim till I was 11, and I never really liked the seaside. I was always about the woods.
Oh, okay,
Out in the woods, even a little boy. I mean, a different era now. You can't imagine like an 8-year-old just going off to the woods all day on their own, but I used to do that.
Yeah, you wouldn't dream of it.
No way. But I did.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, there's some woods close to us, and we were always in the woods messing about. But yeah, Steve, he was, person with just awful luck all his life, and used to be a talented guitar player. And
let me zoom in on that one there, Dan. Hold on a minute.
So we spent 3 months making this work together, and then he had liver failure, and they rushed him into hospital. Anyway, somehow he survived, and he was advised he could never drink 1 sip of alcohol ever again. Mm. So, he was doing really well then. I think this book gave him a lift as well. He was really like over the moon with it. I wanted it to be a collaboration. I didn't want to feel like I was exploiting him in any way, because I didn't make any money from making it. I kind of broke even. Yeah. So it was all to do, with spending some time with Steve.
And now you've got this lovely testament to Steve. Yeah, and that's really quite wonderful, man. Like, lots of people in this life. It's funny how some people go through life, they don't lose anyone until quite down the road. But for anyone who's lost someone, it's a very,
Exactly. And Steve, well, there'd been a tremendous amount of tragedy in Steve's life, and he had a tragic ending as well. He died, he was 41, which is like, it's definitely no age to go. No. But look fondly on these pictures, and you can beyond those trees.
Oh, hold on, Dan. I'm using your tripod, which I'm not au fait with. But here, you're going to point. There you go. Do the point.
Beyond the trees in across the valley there's a forest on the top, and that's this forest. So I can see where he was. The original, he used to drink a Ranji Boom which is there'd be empty cans everywhere around the forest. And the original name for the project was going to be Orangiboom Man.
Yeah.
But I thought that's kind of suggesting that I don't know him.
No.
And he's a mystery. I wanted it to feel like I knew him and we were working together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the summer months, he used to live in the woods.
Wow.
With his dog. Yeah, he just looked so old. And, I think when we were making this work, he was 38.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Interesting.
And nice you've got this one as well.
Yeah, you wrote some notes about what happened in his life on this. Without nature, I wouldn't have survived. Look after each other, Pove the Great.
Yeah, great name. Great name.
Well, what happened was the title came from. I bumped into him. I said, "Oh, we should do some pictures sometime." He was like, "Yeah, I'm up for that." And then didn't see him then for a while. So I texted one of the boys that I know and said, "What's Steve's number?" And he sent me his contact from his phone, and he was in his phone as Pove the Great. And I thought, that is it, Pove the Great. So there we are. That's a great. That means a lot to me, that book. I forget how many. Yeah, there was only 100 copies of this, and each one came with a print. And I'm
just going to stop you then, just because it's
home.
a bit serendipity. Right. So, what's this one?
So this one is the last published work I did, and it was Black Was the River You See, which follows the River Ogmore from the Bulch. From the Bulch, gap in the hedge. Oh God, this is double signed. I don't know why that is. I think I must have signed these on press.
Double signed.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing
that's worth twice as much
that's
now.
a good idea.
It's worth twice as much.
Yeah. Well, they say that if you find a book Martin Parr has made that he hasn't signed, it's actually worth more money.
And Alex Soth. Sorry.
No, let's go, Diane.
Right, we're going. So this carries on from Gap in the Hedge and basically follows the river Ogmore, which flows from the Bulch through Bridgend and out into the Bristol Channel. So pretty much carrying on where I left off with Gap in the Hedge, using a Mamiya 7 Kodak Portrait.
Sorry, Dan, can you just slide it down a little bit for me? And that, well, just in case there's some photos on that page. There we go. Sorry,
right, yeah.
say that bit again, Dan.
I can't remember what I said.
You're going on about cameras now.
Oh yeah, people love talk about cameras.
They really do.
I better say that again. So so carrying on from Gap in the Hedge, used the same camera, Mamiya 7 with Kodak Portrait, and basically went wandering around the valley again. So. Essay by Rachel Trezise, which is she's a celebrated Welsh writer, which I was lucky that she did that. It was an honour, and a poem by Rhian Edwards, which is another. She's a poet, but. She won the Poet of the Year, Welsh Poet of the Year, a couple of years ago. So lots of credentials there when it comes to the texts. But yeah, so this is the river, the source, and then you're kind of looking down the valley, and then we start. Oh, my tummy's making.
That's me as well. Yeah, I'm hungry too.
So so basically the same thing. I used Gap in the Hedge as a template, so I knew what to do with Gap in the Hedge. There was a lot of trial and error, but I knew what to do with this one and how to speed the process up. And this was published by, it's a bit more contemporary when it comes to some of the images. Published by Kozu Books in Bath. Again, lith printed. Really nice production. But a smaller edition this time, 400 I think it was. Because we weren't quite sure about the book market. It was 2021, so not long after all the lockdown stuff, people were a bit worrying about certain things, so we had to lower the edition. But yeah, so an enjoyable few years documenting the river, which is, you know, as it says in my text, is pretty unremarkable, really. So yeah, portraits, landscape, some notes.
This guy, old Merlin.
There's actually two, I think there's another portrait of him. Where is it? Ah, there.
Yeah.
This is my childhood friend. And actually he helped me on some of the Poe the Great. The three of us used to go out sometimes. So this is my childhood friend, and I'd only recently bumped into him again when we were when I started making this work.
Yeah. No, he's got a great look, man. He's got, for me, like, there's certain characters where they have a timeless look.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like he's a man out of time.
He's quite an intense guy with quite a lot of knowledge on everything, you know. And he's had a bit of a troubled life as well, but. Yeah, he was a great help, especially on Poe the Great. So yeah, so half of this book was shot pre-pandemic, and then I managed to do a little bit of it while the pandemic was going on, and then I finished then when all the lockdowns and stuff were eased.
Yeah.
So it was a tricky one in that respect. But yeah, so that's Black Was the River you see. Ellie Hopkins helped me sequence. I think it was 400. Yeah, edition of 400. So, and it had some great press on. A couple of YouTubers gave it a shout out, and so it sold out really quickly, too quickly.
Well, 400. It's funny. Let me just drag this back for a minute so I can see you.
Yeah, it was.
So like. I print with copper in Lithuania.
Yeah.
And their minimum is like 500.
Well, yeah.
And even that, like, you'd be surprised, like, you know, they do go.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to pull it, I don't know, let me just pause for a minute. Have we got any more?
I got some dummies.
Okay.
Unless you're happy with that.
Well, if they're not out yet, let's not give them that yet. Let's not give them the dummies. They don't need that. They don't warrant. You guys at home, you don't get to see the dummies of what he's making unless you like message loads and this video gets millions of views, which I know it won't. So I don't have to worry about that.
There are PDFs available, which I'm.
Oh really?
I will. Well, to tell the truth, I submitted one of the PDFs already to a publisher, but it was a no. So.
All right. Well, you know, that's
But I had some good feedback, so that's
well, for me, man,
equally as valuable.
I'm the champion self-publisher, and I feel like it's such a good way to do it. And look, man, you're already shipping books out. Why didn't you do it, Dan? Why didn't you self-publish, Dan?
Yeah,
Dan.
How do you afford to do that?
You crowdfund it, mate, and I've got a 30-minute video on my YouTube channel telling you exactly how to do it, a step-by-step guide.
No, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it.
Why not?
I just couldn't. It's not in my nature to have that to worry about.
All right. It is a bit thrilling.
Yeah. There's so many people, and I saw my friend recently failed with his, and it must be like heartbreaking.
Well, Dan, look, I'm here to tell you I've done it 4 times. No, I've done it 5 times, and I've never failed.
Yeah, no.
And I'm telling you, you can do it. And like, you know what's really easy?
I haven't got the personality to just jump on and go, whoa.
But you don't need to do that. None of my crowdfunding videos are like the Ed Show. I always do voiceover. It's always, apart from the one where I had the cowboy do the voiceover, but that's another story. The point is that you do it as a voiceover. You just talk about the work. You show the book dummy, which you've already got. Mate, it's so easy. Like, I could help you. I could set a Kickstarter page up. You just need a video. If I'd known.
I couldn't deal with it, honestly. I really couldn't. It'd just be too much for me. There's too much going on in my head at the moment. It's like, I'm not in any sort of rush with the personal work, to tell the truth. I'm just thinking, I'm quite happy to be sitting on those bodies of work, and if something happens, something happens.
I think that's the luxury we have in a lot of the books we've been putting out. The work was made like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And because of the nature of documentary, you know what? Sometimes it gets stronger.
Yeah. Because the cars get older, and you know
the car
that
they're like, why is that car in that car ruined the composition? And then go forward 20 years now. Oh, I love the car.
Exactly. Look at Eggleston. You know,
there you go.
At the time he took those, it was just, it would have just been there every day, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And now there's just every car in his pictures is a classic.
Groovy. Well, thank you for letting me into the Photo Book Junkie headquarter.
That's fine.
Thank you
for
sharing.
Coming.
Oh, thank you for showing the books. And yeah, if anyone is this part of the side of the country, that's in the museum. What's the name? I can't read it from here.
It's been extended until November. It's been extended until January. Amazing show.
And what's the museum again?
The National Museum of Wales in Cardiff.
That's it, the National Museum of Wales in Cardiff, and you can see a bunch of fine folk, including Dan Wood, Kudelka, who else? Davidson, do you say? Do you say Davidson? I say Davidson.
Yes.
Let's make names up. Francesco.
Robert Frank.
Hardman.
But it's mixed media, so you got like art and sculpture and video and all sorts. It's
amazing.
It's a huge show. It's a hell of a show, and a real honour to be involved. It's just, if my art teacher could see me now, because I don't even have a GCSE to my name, So
yeah, I didn't do GCSE art either. Yeah,
I'm just I was a born loser in school. So pretty happy with that.
Amazing, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
No, thank you, Ed. It's amazing to see you IRL.
I know. I was worried I was a fictional character until Dan was like, "Oh, hey, it's you in IRL." I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm a human." So thank you for making me real. I think when I walk out of your front door, I might just melt into the ether now. I don't know who's going to edit this video, but thank you.
The sun's come out for you anyway.
Yeah,
so,
it's lovely. I do like this view. I said when I walked in, what a lovely view.
It's nice.
There's something very pleasing about that kind of almost fractal.
It's nice. Come and see my garden. It's nice.
Oh, here we go.
It's a bit of a mess, but because of the leaves coming off the trees. But we got Welsh sunshine, which is rare.
Yeah, it's not often.
It's beautiful. And you can see that's the castle wall just there. So back in the 12th century.
Oh, literally here?
That's it. There.
Wow. So yeah, the castle and your bird feeder.
My bird feeder. I found that down by the river and I carried it home.
Yeah.
So
there we go. Dan Wood, ladies and gentlemen. And this is quite a nice shot.
Oh, right.
This is quite nice. The light's kind of cool. I've got nice blue sky.
You bite.
That was perfectly timed. Right, let's get out of here. Let's go. Look at this.